Why did the ancient world's most famous, just king murder his best friend? Everyone knows Hammurabi for his laws, the guy who carved an eye for an eye onto a giant stone finger. We're taught he was this benevolent, wise grandfather of justice. But that is a lie, because we found his mail. Deep beneath the Syrian desert, archaeologists found a library of 20,000 clay tablets that Hammurabi never intended for you to see. These aren't formal royal proclamations, they are private letters. They are, effectively, his DMs. And they reveal a completely different man. A man who was petty, demanding, paranoid, and ultimately, a traitor. Today, we are reading the private correspondence between Hammurabi and the man he called brother, King Zimri-Lim. And we're going to watch, letter by letter, as history's greatest lawgiver plots the ultimate backstab. To understand how dirty this gets, you have to meet the victim first. Zimri-Lim wasn't some random nobody. He was the king of Mari, a massive, glittering city on the Euphrates River. Mari was the Paris of the ancient world. It had a palace with 300 rooms, indoor plumbing, and archives that would make modern libraries jealous. Zimri-Lim was powerful, rich, and most importantly, he was Hammurabi's biggest ally. In the rough neighborhood of ancient Mesopotamia, you needed backup. Babylon was rising, but it wasn't the empire we think of yet. It was just one city-state fighting for survival. Hammurabi needed friends. So, the letters start out incredibly warm. They call each other brother. This was the standard diplomatic talk of the time, but between them, it feels real. They swap gifts, they share intelligence, they gossip about other kings. If you read the early tablets, it looks like a bromance. Hammurabi is constantly writing to Zimri-Lim saying things like, "May the gods keep you well," and asking about his health. But then, you start to notice a pattern. Imagine you have that one friend who only texts you when they need to move a couch. That is Hammurabi. The letters shift. Hammurabi starts asking for troops, a lot of troops. He's fighting wars on all sides, and he constantly needs Zimri-Lim's soldiers to come save him. And Zimri-Lim? He's a good friend. He sends the troops. He sends thousands of his own men to fight and die for Babylon's wars. But Hammurabi is never satisfied. We have letters where he's basically complaining about the customer service. He writes to Zimri-Lim whining that the troops didn't arrive fast enough or that they weren't the right kind of soldiers. There's this incredible pettiness to it. While Zimri-Lim is dealing with his own problems, rebellions in his own backyard, Hammurabi is nagging him like a micromanaging boss. One letter really stands out. Hammurabi asks Zimri-Lim for information about enemy movements. He treats Zimri-Lim like his personal spy agency. He demands updates, coordinates, and strategy. And the crazy thing is, Zimri-Lim gives it to him. He trusts Hammurabi. He believes that a strong Babylon means a safe Mari. He thinks they are partners building a new order in Mesopotamia. But here is the twist that Zimri-Lim didn't see coming. While Zimri-Lim was sending his armies away to help Hammurabi, he was leaving his own city exposed. And Hammurabi knew this, because he was the one asking for the troops. It was a long con. For years, Hammurabi used Zimri-Lim's strength to crush his other rivals. He used Mari's armies to beat the Elamites, to beat Larsa, to beat Eshnunna. He cleared the chessboard using his best friend's pieces. And once the board was clear, he didn't need the friend anymore. This is the part that historians gloss over when they talk about the Code of Hammurabi. The tone of the letters changes again. The requests stop. The brother talk fades. The silence from Babylon gets deafening. Zimri-Lim starts to get nervous. We have records of his diviners, his fortune-tellers, sacrificing sheep, reading the livers, trying to figure out what Hammurabi is planning. The omens are bad. Then, in the 32nd year of Hammurabi's reign, the letters stop completely. Hammurabi marches his army up the Euphrates, the same army that Zimri-Lim helped train, the same army that Zimri-Lim's soldiers had fought beside for a decade. He doesn't knock on the door. He smashes it down. Hammurabi conquers Mari. But he doesn't just conquer it, he obliterates it. This wasn't a change of management. This was an erasure. Hammurabi ordered the walls of Mari to be dismantled. He looted the palace. He took the riches, the statues, the people. And then he set the palace on fire. Now, here is the supreme irony of history, the most educational part of this whole tragedy. If Hammurabi had just occupied the city, the clay tablets, those thousands of letters, would have eventually turned back into mud. Moisture and time would have destroyed them. But because he burned the palace down, he accidentally baked the clay. The intense heat of the fire turned the unbaked clay tablets into ceramic. It hardened them like pottery. By trying to destroy Zimri-Lim's legacy, Hammurabi actually preserved it forever. He buried the truth under a mountain of ash, thinking no one would ever know what a snake he was. But he literally fired the evidence in a kiln. When French archaeologists started digging at Mari in the 1930s, they didn't just find a ruined city. They found the receipts. They found the letters where Hammurabi called Zimri-Lim brother. They found the requests for help. They found the proof of a decade-long friendship that ended in total betrayal. It completely changes how we look at Hammurabi. We like to think of ancient laws as these noble attempts to create order. We see the stele of Hammurabi in the Louvre Museum and think, wow, look at that justice. But the letters tell us that the man behind the laws was a ruthless pragmatist. He didn't care about fairness. He cared about control. The laws were just another tool, like the army, or like his friendship with Zimri-Lim. He used the law to control his people, and he used lies to control his allies. It makes you wonder about the nature of power. To build the first great empire of Babylon, Hammurabi had to be two people. To his subjects, he was the shepherd, the protector, the man receiving laws from the sun god Shamash. But to his peers, to the other kings, he was a shark. He smiled, he shook hands, he signed treaties, and he waited for the moment to strike. Zimri-Lim's mistake wasn't that he was weak. His mistake was thinking that a king could have friends. In the game of empires, there are no friends. There are only stepping stones. Zimri-Lim was the biggest stepping stone of them all. So next time you hear about Hammurabi's code and how he brought justice to the ancient world, remember the ashes of Mari. Remember the letters. Justice is easy to preach when you're the one holding the hammer. But how you treat the people who helped you get there, that's the real test of character. And Hammurabi? He failed it. It makes me curious. If we could dig up the text messages of today's world leaders in 4,000 years, would we find the same thing? Are our history books lying to us just as much as Hammurabi tried to? What do you think?
Was Hammurabi a genius strategist who did what he had to do to unite Mesopotamia? Or was he just a backstabbing villain who got good PR? Let me know in the comments below.